Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, the pregame version, Avs versus Habs. So, news came in before the game about the Avs doing a lot of things. We'll get to the goalie spot in a little bit. First of all, Bowen Byram out again with an upper body injury. Some people are saying it's related to his head. I don't know if that's official or not, but not good.
Dude, it's you really hope for Bowen Byram the individual's sake that it's not a head injury, because if it is, there's a larger issue at hand, because I don't think he's taken any shots.
I didn't see
head,
any
neck,
last game.
Shoulders, anything like that. So that means that there's literally kind of like an underlying issue here caused by that original concussion last year, and that is really, really scary.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the nature of concussions, sometimes you have recurring symptoms like that.
Right.
But
if it is in fact related to the head injury, it could very well be kind of like what we were talking about with Kemper. He could have tweaked his, deltoids a little bit. I don't
Chad
know.
is saying in the official video, Bednar says it was related to his head, but it's related to head. Yeah, he doesn't have a concussion, but he's got some issues going on from his previous.
So it sounds like it's a lingering issue.
Yeah. Roller coaster of.
It's not a concussion, but it's related to his concussion.
Right.
So he's having light sensitivity or balance issues,
which is concussion symptoms, really, but.
Concussion-like symptoms.
Sure.
Concussion-like.
I'm not a doctor. I can't officially diagnose it, but all of those things are bad.
I thought you were.
I thought you had a Twitter account.
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh, now.
I thought that's it.
Let me call my wife real quick. We'll get an actual doctor's opinion.
I thought you had a Twitter account. That's fine.
Obviously, in Byram's case, you're wishing all the best to the kid, and, hopefully he's perfectly fine, but for every player, choose your health over anything first, man. Don't come back too fast.
Why?
Don't do something dumb. Make sure you're okay.
Well, and that's what I think they've done really well with Bo throughout all of this, is they have let him kind of set the pace for how he's feeling, how much he wants to push himself, when he wants to get back on the ice. And they're listening to him, they're listening to the doctors, and to me, while this by no means is good news, I think it's good that they're holding him out again. I think 5 years ago, even as recently as 5 years ago, you would see teams and players say, no, push through this. Push through and just play through it. Be tough. And you can still be tough and still care about your health. They're not mutually exclusive, and I think that's what they're kind of doing here.
Don't be short-sighted here, right?
Right.
You have a stud back there, and he is very, very young. Might as well sit him down for a little bit. There's still a lot of hockey left, even in this season.
It does make you wonder, too, because Byram did not play very well last night either. So
was it starting to?
Was he feeling it a little bit? I don't know. But
I wonder if that's, I don't know, dizziness or balance issues, like AJ said, because, he didn't look sharp like he has all season. So it's an interesting idea for sure that it could have been starting last night.
Yeah, with those things, it's hard to judge too, right? Because Blais, like you were saying, you'll feel totally fine one day, but you need to feel fine for a week, 2 weeks before.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster. I mean, and there's days when it just comes back. I mean, once you've had them, they never leave.
Yeah.
Well, I think Blais, you brought it up several times with Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
The dude missed almost 2 full years. And he only got hit the one time.
Yep.
I guess he came back and got hit again.
Yeah,
but after that second one, the one where he was really out for an extended period of time, is that was the most recent hit. That was 9 months ago.
Right.
So it's that's what you worry about. But man, I told Allie on our breakdown that we did earlier, I said, I'll take the blame for this. I said on the breakdown, I was like, yep, the good news keeps rolling in on the injury front. We posted the video. They announced Kemper was out, and now Byram's hurt. So, my B.
The news isn't much better on Montreal's side. Brendan Gallagher in COVID protocol. I think Sami Niku was also put in protocol for them. So, not great. Unfortunately, I don't know if this is the Omicron variant or what, but COVID is once again starting to make the rounds around the NHL. A couple days ago, that
pretty aggressively.
Yeah, well, and you saw
you already had Ottawa shut down. The Islanders resume from their shutdown, I think today, and that's after they played through 2 games where they had like 7 dudes missing.
Yeah.
I remember I posted their lineup of like, here's their starters, and it was just like X's next to all those guys.
Well, and even the NHL released that memo, or I don't know what you want to call it, where they're like, cancel all team holiday parties.
Yeah,
and
no
stuff
holiday
like that.
parties, and you have to start masking up again everywhere you go, and stop being a social butterfly.
Yeah, so
isolate.
Not great. Yeah. It's not great. That's for sure.
Do things that are detrimental to your mental health so that we can keep playing hockey games.
Oof. Either way, neither team at full strength. Obviously, Montreal as an organization is in complete turmoil. They have had an awful start to the season. Bergevin's gone.
They had an awful start to the season, and like their problems started.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like they lost the cup final, and it was just like everything started going sideways for them immediately.
Yep.
Like the expansion draft, like they exposed Carey Price, and everybody was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And Montreal was like, he may never play again, and you're like, yeah, okay. And then Carey Price ends up having the problems that he had,
protocol,
and then like Shea Weber's not playing for them.
Yep.
Jeff Petrie, who was like a low key, like rock
Superstar
solid Norris candidate last year, was like a top 10 defenseman last year. I think has 2 points this season.
Yeah,
has just been. Like they've had injuries, they've had bad luck, they've had underperformance. It's like they've run the gamut of everything that can go wrong has gone wrong.
They even got a player offer sheeted taken away from them.
Right?
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Like
there's been so many bad things. I forgot that was this season.
Yeah, like they've had just an incredible run here of things going poorly, and like given the way that they made the Stanley Cup final, you're kind of like,
are you sure you want to cash in all of your good luck for 5 years?
This is a little karmic retribution.
You guys had the conversation last night about how, it's just Toronto that ran through an easy Canadian division. Well, you look at Montreal, who maybe got a little bit of a boost from that division.
Yeah, I think was the worst. I think they were the worst regular season team to make the playoffs.
Would not have made the playoffs in a normal division year.
Yep.
So it is, it is what it is. But point is that they've been really bad this year,
very bad.
And so it's gonna be a thing tonight. I mean, normally you'd walk in feeling great about this game if you're the Avs, but you just don't.
Yep. The Byram thing, and then also
really more than the Byram thing, like for me, like the Byram thing is like that sucks.
It doesn't help, but you're still a quality hockey team,
right? And like Eric Johnson, he has to play better. Like it's got to get better.
I mean, you can look at their entire lineup for the most part outside of Kadri, I guess.
Yeah,
but you could be better than you were last night.
And I just think that there's just such a different, like,
sure, I understand.
And Byram, like both Byram and Johnson were bad last night, and so it's like, okay, well,
those are the guys you're looking at.
One of those is coming out, and it's going to be replaced by a guy who's probably going to play poorly for you.
I mean, he's going to play 6 minutes,
but he's going to do it in a really limited amount of time. So whatever. But it's like it increases the pressure on an EJ to play better, and it increases that pressure on Sam Girard to play better, because now everybody has to just pick it up just a little bit and figure it out, and then. You just can't do what you did to your goaltender last night, regardless of who it is. And now, knowing who it is, it's like, okay, world's most baffling decision.
You cannot play that poorly in front of JoJo again. And
he's literally made this mistake before and isn't learning from it. And it's like, I was in Arizona when he started Philip Grubauer in the same exact situation instead of Pavel Francouz. And Philip Grubauer got lit up in the first period and pulled, and the Avs would probably would have won that game otherwise if they'd just gone with Frankie, and instead they're rolling with Johansson instead of Ananen for no good reason.
But Jesse and I were talking about this before the show a little bit, and the mistake with the goalies here that gets made isn't necessarily playing JoJo in the back-to-back, but it's certainly that they left him in.
Exactly. When that's why we talked last night. When they made that, they should have made that decision last night. When they left JoJo in at 5-2 to start the third period, when they left him in there, they were making the decision for tonight. And then they just decided that, hey, we're gonna be the organization that ignores data. We're gonna be the organization that ignores history. We're gonna be the organization that's not gonna give this kid a chance for some inexplicable reason.
Is it inexplicable though?
Yes, it is.
I disagree. But
Okay, then what's the reason?
Because you just got throttled last night. You're playing a weaker opponent. You're trying to get a goaltender who's going to be with your team longer than in, trying to get his head back in the game. You're trying to
You
get
don't know how much longer JoJo could be in Loveland next week. If Kemper,
he won't be, but
if Kemper, it's a minor thing for Kemper, and Frankie's back. He has a good conditioning stint. JoJo's gone in a week.
These next two games, right? Weak opponents. Why not start Ananen on the back-to-back, right?
It's a show of faith in JoJo.
It's Saturday,
I get that.
On Saturday, playing Johansson, I have no...
Yeah.
That's what I would have expected they would have done, but playing him on the back-to-back is just... It's nonsensical.
I want to talk
show
about
of
this
faith.
comment a little bit because I see a lot of this being said around Twitter and stuff too, where it's like, well, the Avs don't want Ananen to lose his confidence. And I'm sorry, but if you're a goaltender of professional caliber, you know how to take a loss.
Well, and the other thing is are we viewing this guy as the top goaltending prospect or not?
Right.
Yeah.
And now you're going to treat him like fine china? He's so fragile that you got to put the kid glove, literally getting treated with kid gloves right now? Like,
you literally...
I understand that I'm not asking him to take the starting job. I'm not asking him to play against Ottawa. I'm just saying he should be in net tonight.
The dude got BTFO'd 4 games in a row when he started for the Eagles, and then he figured it out and started playing great. So one bad loss isn't going to destroy the guy's psyche, all right? He can play hockey. He's going to get games in the NHL at some point if you believe in him as this quality prospect, and he's going to lose some. He's just going to have to work through that. But if you're afraid of ruining him before he's even played an NHL game, how do you ever get there?
Well, and the Haps don't have a high-powered offense either. Put him in.
Well, and it's like you'd rather. For me, I'm like I would take the chances against Montreal than I would Ottawa if you're gonna.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think either really matter, but yeah.
And this is one of those things where Jared Bednar is going to look one of two ways when the game's done. He's either going to look like the genius that showed faith in JoJo, who has a bounce-back performance and plays really well, and it's like, boom, see, that's why he did it. Or it's going to be a replay of what happened in Arizona, and it's like, holy shit.
This will be a 3-2 game because I am confident this either ends.
It better not be. I took the over.
Well, I'm confident this game either ends and JoJo shuts out Montreal, or the Avs lose like a 5-4 game because JoJo couldn't make a save.
Or the Avs win an 8-7 game.
They just outscore their problems, baby.
Yeah.
They are the Edmonton Oilers.
Look, I think that's the position they're in tonight. I think they have to outscore their problems.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
I don't think that this is a position that like bona fide NHL starters don't get put in.
Yep.
On a regular basis. There's a reason, like, teams don't do this unless they are in the second half of the season and they are pushing for the playoffs.
Need wins,
and they're just like, look, we have to do this. We are ride or die with this guy. We've got to do this. You don't do this in November. You don't play goalies on back-to-backs for a reason. One, injuries happen more often to guys in situations like this.
LOL wouldn't that
and their numbers are atrocious. Like, they're atrocious.
Yeah.
Like, you're an organization that leans into your data and makes a lot of really smart decisions because of basic information that you have available to you. And right now, the decision being made is, I'm going with my gut on this one. And, like, that's part of coaching. You have to make those calls sometimes. Yeah. But there isn't, when you look at available information, you look at the caliber of the player that's involved here. Like, and that's like, and that's not like, I'm not meaning to take a shot at Jonas Johansson. We all agree he's a fine number 3 goaltender. Yep. But this is not a position you put starting goaltenders in.
Yep.
Teams don't put starters in this position. They don't put the regular backups in positions like this. Teams don't do this, and there are good reasons for that. It's not like this is one of those things that teams just do, and it frustrates you to no end because you're like, what's the benefit here? Why does this happen? Like, there are good, solid, justifiable reasons that this decision is universally made league-wide, especially in December, November, October, especially the first half of the season where you're just kind of like, well, if we lose this game, we've got like 50 more to go, where you're feeling like you can make up for it, or, well, whatever. It's just you don't
using that logic though, where you've got 50 games to go, and if you lose a game, whatever, I almost kind of make the argument as, okay, then what does it hurt to say, hey, we have confidence in you. You played a bad game last night. We think you're going to go back out there and really bounce back. I said it yesterday on the pregame show. I thought they were going to – I had a feeling they would do this either way. Play JoJo in back-to-back games. And
again, when you get to that point, it's like, okay, that's fine, but – the way it played out makes it feel like they didn't know what they were going to do, and there was no plan at all.
And so I said it, AJ, like literally right as you were walking up the stairs, when Bednar said in the postgame, I need to talk to Joe about what they wanted to do for tonight, I had a feeling they'd be going back to Johansson. I don't know what...
Yeah, they could have committed to Annunen right then, and when they didn't, obviously that was an alarm bell for everybody, where it was like,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Like, they're going to do this. Okay, well.
But that to me says that there's, again, there's some reason they're doing this that we don't know. But there's something that they saw.
That doesn't mean it's a good reason.
but again, that won't be decided till after the game.
Sure.
And I would love to know what was said in that conversation, because there's something that they have seen or not seen that made them say, we don't like putting Annunen in this game. You always have to default to the person with the most information, right? And Bednar and Sakic were in that room, and there is something that they're saying, reason X is why we don't think we should put him in this situation, or reason Y is why we think JoJo needs to go back-to-back. You also have to have a little bit of context here, because you're 100% right. In 95% of situations, teams don't do this. Your goalie, who was supposed to start yesterday, got hurt 3 hours before the game started.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was you just do what you have to do.
Yeah, mornings, like, yesterday was a predictable, they got smoked, everything went
Right.
Yeah.
And, like, you had a chance, you went to sleep, you traveled, you got to Montreal, you woke up, and the great thing about pro sports is that you reset the next day, and you get back to it. But then, part of resetting is putting yourself in a good position. Do you think that they've made the best? Do they think that they're making the decision that puts them in the best position to win tonight? Because for me, I don't. So I'm critical of the decision. Now, if they go out and they win, then great. They can all give me the middle finger and I'm a moron. Wonderful. But if they go out and he gives up 7 more goals, what do you think that's going to fucking do to his confidence?
No, for sure.
Because now
he's done.
Now he's unrecoverable. And we saw what happened to Hunter Miska last year.
Yep.
His confidence got shattered.
Dude's getting blown up in the ECHL now.
That dude was a fine AHL goaltender. He was perfectly fine there. And what happened to him last year, he hasn't bounced back from. And I don't know that necessarily, like, his struggles this year
totally unrelated.
Could be totally unrelated, but it's also a thing like his confidence broke.
I mean,
and it just hasn't been fixed. And you risk doing that to the guy tonight, where you're like, this is your third goaltender. Why are you riding him then? Why would you even take this chance? Like, because if he bounces back, then great. Wonderful. He plays on Saturday, which he was going to do anyway for you.
Third goaltender in 2 weeks anyway.
And then nothing meaningful has changed. But if this goes sideways and he gives up 3 in the first period and gets pulled, his confidence is even worse than when you started.
And I think the more we're sitting here talking about it, honestly, I think the reason is there is a level of known quantity with JoJo.
All right.
Against teams of this caliber, he's played well. He's won games. He had a shutout last year. And you just don't know with Annunen. You got smoked last night, and I think what they're saying is we trust that this goaltender is competent enough.
I'd love to let you two go all night, but this is a pregame show.
I'm
just gonna say one last. They've had in similar situations in the past. Antoine Bibeau won a game. Adam Werner won a game.
100%.
Adam Werner got smoked. So Michael Hutchinson won a game. Devin Dubnyk won a game. They've had plenty of success with a lot of different goalies who were not their one or their two in this situation, and for them to put JoJo in the spot, I think it's just bad. I think it's bad reasoning that's led them to a bad.
The old
decision.
adage is coaching decisions will lose you more games than they'll win. I think we can leave it at that. Getting back to scoring their way out of their problems,
and that's why I had him as the other topic.
Nathan MacKinnon is back. He did produce the other night.
Yeah,
did not put a puck in the net.
He has 10 games now.
I think
it's 10 games
total.
I think it's 10 games played now that he has. He's got 1 goal.
Yep.
4 shots. 4 shots on goal.
4 shots on goal last night.
Yeah, 4 shots. The fourth one was cash for all of us. We were just like, as it was a dump in from the blue line.
Well, which is funny too because it was plus 100 last night, and now it's like minus 150 or something.
Oh, I hadn't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
I was.
Well, he got over the red line and he threw that in and got a net. And I was like, that should count. That should count.
The neutral zone shot on net.
Yeah.
Let's see, Nathan MacKinnon.
So
9 games, 12 points, 9 games.
yeah.
That's what I
So
thought.
like he's finding and there have been some real empty calories to get him to 12 points.
Yeah.
Putting up a couple points in a Washington game where you were blown out by the time you got on the box score, and like
Matt Duchesne points.
There have been that's cold blooded. There have been some empty calorie points there along the way, but and again, like last night, 2 points. Well, his second point of the night, you're like that whole the goal that makes it 8-3. You're like,
great play.
this is stat padding, and anyway. With MacKinnon, I just think more than anything, you want to see him score.
Yeah, put a puck in the net.
You want to see him just walk in from on the power play and with that wrist shot, put one where he usually puts one right above the glove. It goes bar down. He makes a little smirk and he goes, "Let's go, baby!" And they all like high five and it's great, right?
Well,
like it's
and
whatever.
This I think transcends just one game too, because I think a lot of Avs fans are tired of seeing the roller coaster with the Avs top line. You'll see a game where Mikko gets a hat trick.
Yeah.
And then the next night he's a complete ghost.
Yeah.
And Landy is always kind of somewhere in the middle, right? His highs are never that high. His lows
I don't
are
think
never
Landy's
that
been
low.
good enough this year.
But
Oh, I completely disagree. He's on a 100-point pace, and I think defensively he's as good as he's ever been. I think Landy's been their quiet MVP. Like they're
Hard disagree.
yeah, I don't think you're beating out Kadri.
like Kadri and McCarr and like those guys who've been like your
So
MVP.
Kadri's gone.
You're like MVPs, but Landy has been like exactly what you paid him to be. He is that.
but
he is
Defensive forward of the year?
He has been the steadying force.
Right.
Every line that he's been on
Sure.
has found some level of success around him amidst all kinds of turmoil. He's never going to be like
He's not gonna take
super
over games.
highlight reel.
Yeah.
Like he has like 1 or 2
see, I
games a
disagree,
year.
'cause-
He has 1 or 2 games a year where he dominates, and you're just like, what got into the man tonight, right? And like that's the best he has to give in the best league in the world. He's just not capable of getting to that level regularly. But most nights, he plays really smart hockey. He makes good quality decisions, and he pales a little in comparison, skill level wise, to the 2 guys that do silly things around him on a regular basis. But he gets who he is, and he's comfortable in his own skin, and he plays to that. And there are always things about his game that annoy the hell out of me and frustrate me. But he does so many good things that he elevates every line that he's on. Yeah. They all get better with him on it.
That's where I think MacKinnon comes in. Is MacKinnon is the dude who you want to show up. This guy knows he's the best player in the league or top 3, whatever.
Yeah.
And you want to see him own the league every night. He's the dude that puts the engine in the motor or puts the engine in the car and they go.
Yeah.
It's the engine in the motor.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, they've got...
Motor can't go without an engine.
They have a trio that just works so well together in their top line, where they have 3 guys who have had 30-goal seasons.
Yeah.
You know, they've got an array of skills too. MacKinnon's more of the wrist shot, and Mikko's got the one-timer and the backhand, and Landy is like, he's your tip guy, right? And he's your kind of junk goaler. And they're great in transition. They're great on the cycle. They complement each other really well. Defensively, they help each other. When they're at their best, they really do a great job of just meshing, and they dominate games in ways that very, very few lines are capable of. And we've seen that line together so little this year, and so little with their top defenders also available, who drive so much of Colorado's offense.
Yep.
That it's really important to note that, yes, Cale Makar's success cannot be separated from those guys because they're all each other's most common line mates. But then you look at the level of success that they have, and you would say, why wouldn't they be? Isn't that just good coaching to put your best players with your best players?
Funny how that works.
When the results are legitimately dominant.
It works like that.
And so that's the thing, is that group hasn't spent a lot of time together this year. They're I think tonight is game 20, and they've only had like 5 or 6 games where the top line has even been
Is it
fully
even
healthy.
that much? I thought it was.
I was gonna say, if you told me it was 5 or 6, I'd be fucking shocked.
And then beyond that, they haven't had Devon Taves and Cale Makar in pretty much any of those games.
I don't think they've had their top line and those two for anything more than last night.
I would say, I don't remember Columbus. I don't remember who played in that, but that would have been the only other time that was possible.
Where they had one period before
where and I don't
the first time.
I don't remember the exact specifics of it, but it's
so maybe maybe 2 games.
My point is that it's been very, very, very limited time where the Avs have had all of their tip-top guys in a lineup together. And last night, you saw that second period. You saw what happens when they start to take over a game and they start to set the tone for the teammates. They dominate.
All right, let's set the tone for making money tonight. Rapid fire betting. What do y'all got?
Oh man, I got Nathan MacKinnon as an anytime goal scorer.
Yep, me too.
All right, easy money, MacKinnon. I think
also got him over 1.5 points.
Not bad. I love riding the coattails of that. Mikko for over half an assist. I would take that bet pretty much every game that MacKinnon's in the lineup.
Do we know if Tyler Toffoli's healthy?
I don't.
Well, I also took Nate as the first goal scorer. I didn't realize that.
I took Kadri with a half assist.
He's at Kadri's points are still at 0.5.
Yeah, take that.
And it's
that.
plus 120 for him right now.
Hammer that.
It's
crazy.
Look at that. Plus 120 for Kadri.
For
Hammer
what?
it.
For an assist.
An assist. Okay. I thought you said for a point.
For
I was
points,
like, huh?
It's plus 130 for him to have a point.
You're fucking
You got a
lying.
bad deal there, Blake.
What the? Yeah, what the crap?
No.
That can't be
it's
right.
minus 160 for
There
a
we
point.
go. Okay.
Plus 130
Not
for
close.
under a point.
Yeah, my bad. I haven't flipped.
The assist will
still,
get you there.
I
yeah.
took the Avs on the puck line, and then after I heard the news that JoJo was starting, I tried to take it off, and
7-6 with an empty netter, 8-6.
Yeah,
You're
good. DraftKings said that they couldn't find me in the state of Colorado, so I couldn't take my money out. So I said, that's the sign. They're going to win it.
Yep.
Oh, I had DraftKings does that to me where they're like, you're not in Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
can't find your location.
I'm like, bitch, I swear I am.
All right, we're about 5 minutes away from Puck Chop.
I'm taking the over.
Chat, be sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube so you get the notification when we go live post-game to talk about everything that went down. We love all of you. We hope you enjoy the game. We will talk to you after.